no friend of me.
We are waging war on mediocrity. It ain't no friend of me. It's your boy, the motivational teacher to the masses, coming again with another edition of these Motivational Mondays. Hey, Angelique, thank you for joining us tonight. The artist. I hope you all are off to an awesome and fantastic start to your week. Episode 167 of Awaken Your I Am. For all my replayers, if you would, please allow me about 45 seconds as I share this out to all of my different social media outlets. And please, if you will, do the same for me. It would be such a blessing if you could tag 4 or 5 people in this video. Like I always say, if they can't grow with you, they can't go with you. And anybody you want to take on this journey with you, please copy them, share this. And then, I'm sorry, y'all. Please post it on your story. It means so much. It means so much for me when you all do that. That would be so awesome. I'm starting to see the odds to add up on here. If you would, if you're popping in the room, man, shout your boy out. Let me know who's out there. Starting to see the odds add up. Give me about another 30 seconds as I'm sharing this out. Starting to see the odds add up. Holler at your boy as you come in the room. Let me know who's out there. I know your week is off to a great start. Out there on YouTube, how y'all doing today? Y'all having a fantastic day? I'm sharing this right now. Give me about 15 more seconds, and we're gonna commence to this bread breaking. We're gonna commence to this bread breaking. A few more. All right. y'all know how these allergies. It's that time of the season. I'm not going to allow it to hold me back. We about to get with it. Episode 167 of Awaken Your I Am. Tonight, for a brief moment, I want to talk to you about knock knock. You know, it's funny because most people hear knock knock, who's there? And they're looking to play the game knock knock. I want to talk to you about the opportunities that you have every day that are knocking at your door that sometimes we don't always realize. They said that the joking of knock knock started in the early 1840s when people started saying knock knock, who's there? Then they said something, and then somebody else say something funny, and everybody have a good laugh. Well, I want to talk to you about a different knock knock. I want to talk to you about how your goals and your dreams and opportunities come looking for you every day. I'm gonna break bread today. They come looking for you every day. Every day that you wake up on this earth, every day that you get up on this earth, there's an opportunity for you to play knock knock. Oh my God, this is gonna be a bread breaking moment. Episode 167. I see eyes starting to add up. Go ahead and tag in your top 5 before I really get going into this Motivational Monday. I gotta say that we've been on a series these last couple of Motivational Mondays. I would say this last year, we've been on a crash course with destiny. And not only have I seen my life grow, but I've seen a lot of the people. Hey, Shirley, thanks for joining us. I've seen a lot of people who's attached to this show, who comes in, who's a part of this Motivational Monday community. I've seen a lot of them start doing new things, and I'm starting to see their life grow. I'm telling you, I think there's only one gap that most people need to fill. It's awakening there I am. It's me looking at myself and seeing the version of me that the great I am see on the inside of me. I'm going to break bread tonight. The moment I start realizing who I am, doors knock knock will become more frequent in my life. And what's up, Edwin? Thank you for joining us, bro. See, here's the reality of it right now. The version of I am today can only recognize and witness Sir Knox. I'm going to break bread tonight. Tonight, we talk about waking your I am, knock knock. I start from the premises that opportunities are presented to us every day. I start from the premise that there are people looking for you right now to bless and encourage your vision. There are people right now being put in place, being born. There are people there's more a cloud of witnesses working on your behalf for your dream and your goals to come alive. But we have to become proficient at knock knock. Excuse me, y'all. Allergies. You got to become proficient at knock knock. And here's the reality is that your goals and your dreams are really looking for you. Everything that you want out this life is truly looking for you. It's no different than a sperm in the egg looking for the egg of a female. It's no different than that sperm trying to climb and reach that egg. And once it reaches that egg, it knows exactly where it's supposed to go. Your goals and your dreams are no different than that sperm trying to reach that egg. Oh, I'm going somewhere tonight. See, let me tell you, the egg represents who you are, the virgin you must be in order to attract those sperms. Knock, knock. Every day you're on earth, there is a position or posturing of trying to get you to become the person that can attain those goals and that can attain those dreams. Knock, knock. Opportunity is at your door. Motivational teacher. I've been at home all day. I didn't see opportunity. Motivational teachers. I was at work today. I didn't hear knock, knock. See, let me tell you something about knock, knock. Knock, knock. Most often, or your opportunity most often come camouflaged in your opposition. And see, so many of us, we run from growth and we run from development and we run from pain and we run from being uncomfortable. But most likely, our knock knock is on the other side of what that discomfort is. Knock knock, opportunity is knocking on your door every day, but it doesn't come dressed like opportunity. Oh, it doesn't come dressed like a brand new Mercedes Benz, or it doesn't come dressed like a $1 million house, or it doesn't come dressed in the business that you want, but it's coming every day to uncover who you have to be to attain that goal and that dream and that vision. Hey, Pat, thanks for joining us tonight. We going somewhere tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are going somewhere tonight. I want you to know that every morning you wake up, you should wake up with a smile on your face because you get to play knock knock. Oh my God. Not every day is going to be perfect. Not every day is going to look pristine. Not every day is going to line up with the way you think it should, but there's still a knock knock even in the midst of that day. I'm talking about knock knock. I'm talking about knock knock. Opportunity is at your door. I'm talking about knock knock. Opportunity is at your door. You're looking for your opportunity. You're looking for opportunity, but we neglect the opposition. It's okay to be uncomfortable for a while as you begin to uncover what your opportunity is. So many of us run from pain. We run from the discomfort of being tired or working like most of us. Some of us got secular jobs. We put in 40-hour work weeks. We still have 128 hours in the rest of the day and the rest of the week. Knock, knock. Opportunity is saying, what are you doing with the rest of your time? Come on, John, who's there? It's opportunity, bro. What am I doing with the rest of my time? What I'm doing with the rest of my time determines what I see with the knock, knock. Oh my God, that's a breaking moment. How I'm willing to sacrifice, what I'm willing to commit to, what I'm willing to be disciplined at, where I'm willing to go hard for myself at. Those are where I show knock, knock, I believe what's on the other side of my door. Narrow is the way. And I wish I could come on here like every other motivational speaker and just tell you, you go 120, you'll get it. I wish I could come on here and tell you that if you rub this genie 3 times, spin around 3 times, walk around 7 times, that it'll all come to you. There is no quick fix. There is no microwave to success. You got to take the stairs. You can't ride the elevator to success. I love it, Angelique. There are plenty of time to be available for opportunities. But I'm telling you, we have to discover who I have to be to realize what's knocking at my door. Oh my God, there's no shortage of opportunity. There are too many people not willing to go through the discomfort, not willing to feel the pain for a season, not willing to go through the grind of discipline in order to get to the other side of your knock knock. I'm telling you, I had this conversation with my sons this morning. I'm telling you that God is not, I got people chiming in this thing on here. God is not a respecter of your feelings. He's not a respecter of what your dream. He is a respecter of what's your faith. Evidence of things hoped for, substance. Like he responds to your faith. What shows your faith is, well, what am I willing to endure to get to the other side? What am I willing to endure to get? Behold, if any man knock, I will open. See, right now, on the other side of the door is going to be discomfort. On the other side of the door might be struggle. On the other side of the door might be pain, but you gotta be willing to go through that season of your life to get to what's on the other side of that knock knock. Everything that you went through prepared you for what was knocking at the door. You thought what you went through was isolated. I'm telling you, all the different valleys and the hills that you went through all work together for your good. It all worked together for your good. Knock, knock. I remember I had just gotten married. I've been married about a year. My wife, we got pregnant at 9 months, so she was about 3 months pregnant. And here I am. I got a company car, company credit card. I had a 401k. I had what everybody would call the American dream. What everybody praying for, what a lot of people wanted. I had it. And all in one phone call, we're downsizing by 40 to 50%. Everybody don't go to work today, sit by the phone. And me on the inside of me, I'm a man of faith. I'm believing God, not me this time. No, sir. Not going, I don't believe I'm getting laid off, God. This is my season. I was praying and I was believing. I was praying about believing. And I consciously, I didn't tell my wife, who was pregnant, about that we all had to sit by the phone and wait to see if we had jobs, because I was thinking there was no way I'm getting laid off. And so I didn't even tell her. I just sat by the phone, and honestly, I didn't put much thought in it. I wasn't thinking that, wow, that if I get laid off, my car is gone, my company card is gone, my 401k is gone, my benefits are gone. I had no knowledge. It never crossed my mind of what all I had to give up, because I was in so much faith that it wasn't going to be me. So the phone rang. I answered the phone, hello. And then my former manager was able to tell me, he told me, like, listen, hey, we downsized. Your whole division is gone. So here are your opportunities. Here's what we're going to do. And he walked me through everything. And I am totally floored, because at this moment in time, it hurt so bad, not for me, but because I had to tell my now pregnant wife, my new wife, that I don't have a car now. I got to figure out where I'm going to get a car from. I've been let go. I don't have a job. My insurance is gone. We just had a baby. Now I got to go have this conversation. So all of this is going through my mind all at the same time, not knowing that it was a knock knock moment, not understanding that God was checking to see who was my true source. Was that job my source, or was God my source? In that moment, I had to sit there and look myself in the mirror and say, motivate. At the time I was a motivation teacher, I had to sit there and look myself in the face and say, Anthony, this is a defining moment in your life. You tithe, you pray, you believe. Now this is a moment in your life where you gonna see, we will know what you believe. So I sat there in that moment. I ain't gonna lie, I was trembling, but I was trusting. I sat there and I rubbed my head. And at the time, my wife was teaching, so she was at work. She didn't know. So I had a few hours to plan and prepare on how I was going to break this news. And I knew how I gave it and what I conveyed to her in the midst of us losing, I was the breadwinner by a mile. In the midst of us losing my income, my car, my 401k, our health benefits, I knew how I communicated this to her was going to be how she received it. I said, okay, if I communicate this in a way to where I'm confident and that I'm strong, that God's gonna make a way somehow, or I could deliver this and really just say how nervous and how afraid and how scared I am. I don't know if we're gonna make the mortgage, because at that time we didn't have no real big nest egg saved up. We didn't have no emergency fund. Hey, Angela, thanks for joining us. We were working paycheck to paycheck. We were going piece by piece. We were barely making it. And so I had to come up, we had to make a decision. I had to commit to, I'm willing to meet this moment. I believe that he that's in me is greater than he that's out there. I believe I was built, everything I came to brought me to this moment. And I start remembering knock moments prior to in my life. I remember when I was at Vanderbilt, and at this moment it started coming to me what I had all overcame. In that moment, I remember when I was about when I wanted to quit college and I wanted to turn around and go back home. I remember that I was the first male to graduate high school on my dad's side. I started remembering who I was. And I remember all the other knocks before this moment. I had to meet the moment, and the only way I could meet the moment is I had to remember who I was and whose I belong to. And knowing that he is stronger in me than he's in the world, even back then as a young lad. I'm gonna break bread. Thank you, Mary, for joining us. Thank you, Rosa, for joining us. Even as a young lad, I had to come to the conclusion that how I communicate this at 5 o'clock was going to determine my ultimate end. And so my new wife got home, and I had to tell her, break the news. And she was trembling, and she was scared. But at the end of the day, she remembered that when I met you, you have been through a divorce. When I met you, you was in the room of silence. When I met you, you didn't have those things. And she started remembering just then, like the same dude is here. And I gotta tell y'all, from that one, so I got laid off. By the end of that day, I had a friend call me and tell me, hey, I heard what happened. Whole division got cut. I got a friend somewhere in Dublin City that I'd never been to, in Dublin, Georgia. I had never been to Dublin, Georgia. Never dreamed of going to Dublin, Georgia. Never visited Dublin, Georgia. Didn't even know Dublin, Georgia existed. Didn't even know it existed. And so my friend called and said, I got a friend hiring over here in Dublin, Georgia. Never been there. I didn't even know at the time Dublin was an hour away from where my wife was from. Didn't know. And so from that, I'm going to tell you how God works. So from me getting laid off, I had a friend that called that lived in Dublin. We moved to Dublin, Georgia. And we, to this day, give Dublin credit. My oldest was born in Dublin. We give our Dublin, Georgia, we call it the place where we grew up. Because we got put down in Dublin, Georgia. I equate Dublin almost to the backside of that mountain like Moses was when he was in Midian. On the backside of Dublin is where we learn how to manage money. On the backside of Dublin is when we learn that it just is us against the world. If God is with us, we're the majority. It's in Dublin where our marriage became so tight because we had nobody else to depend on. And I believe that what was meant for my harm, I'm telling you, I went and I think I might have missed 2 paychecks. I might have missed 2 paychecks before I was right back getting another one. And I vowed at that moment, I started making this confession. I'm going to tell y'all how things work sometime in your life. At that moment, I started making that confession. I'll never be broke another day of my life. If I ever get laid off again, I'll have enough money where we don't have to stress. And we started managing money differently. All of that, what was all wrapped up in what could have been depression, oppression, and suppression, became an opportunity. On the other side of what I thought was one of the worst days of my life was the greatest opportunity. And all it was knock, knock, who's going to answer? We learn how to manage money. We learn how to love one another. We learn how to depend on one another, all because of that situation, what they meant for my harm, God turned it around and meant it for my good. And I still say to this day, I'll never be broke another day in my life. I learned that from experience. I said, if this ever happened again, I won't ever like, well, I got to scramble to figure out how I'm going to live, how I'm going to drive, how I'm going to get around. Why? Because we start saving money the right way. We started learning how to start. What does it mean to communicate? What's your love language? What's my love language? We started learning those things. We started reading couples books when we was in Dublin, trying to learn how to love one another. Why motivational teacher? Because we were on the backside of Midian. A lot of people run from Midian. I'm telling you to embrace it, learn, and grow from it. Man, this is some bread breaking right here. All it was that day was a knock moment. And that on the other side of that knock was trying to see which version of Anthony is coming to the door. That's a bread breaking moment. Which version of Anthony is coming to the door? Is it going to be that version of you that's scared, that's afraid, that's nervous, that don't know if you can make it? Or is it going to be the giant going to come to the door and say, yeah, if God be for me, who going to be against me? Is it going to be the version of you that say, man, greater is he on the inside of me? When you get that call that says, man, at the late of the night, midnight hour, when it looks like it's not going to work for you, which version are you going to answer the door? Because I promise you, that opportunity most often comes looking like opposition. What's up, Q? I'm telling you right now, which version of you answers that door determines what opportunity you get on the other side of that door. I'm telling you, man, for so long, man, I'm breaking bread tonight. Got people chiming in this conversation. Angelique said, breaking bread. Which you is answering the door. Come on, Angelique. There's a version of you that's going to answer that door. And either you see it as opportunity or you see it as opposition. I meet opposition with a smile these days. I had some opposition come last week. Big opposition. And I can't tell the story right now because it's so fresh and I got people listening to me all across the country and I don't want nobody to try to put my story together and try to see what I'm talking about. So I can't tell the story because it's so fresh. But what I will say is that when opposition came, it meant the version of me that was so confident, that was so strong that I could subdue my words. Boy, that's a bread breaking moment. That normally I would have, old Anthony before episode 1 of Awaken Your I Am would have told that person exactly what was on my mind. Episode 167, Anthony said thank you. You're entitled to your opinion. I choose to think differently. Why? I can't be, once you're comfortable with who you are, you don't have to defend yourself. My work, my words, my presence defends me. I don't have to go, oh, I'm all this, I'm that. I don't have to meet anybody's aggression with aggression. You know why? Because I am confident in who I am. Boy, that's a bread breaking moment. When you know who you are and whose you are, man, it's small to me. It's small to me. I'm telling y'all, once you mess around and figure out who, come on, Angela. Once you mess around and figure out who you are, you won't sweat the small stuff. Now, back then, when I almost got let go, like it took me some time to get my mind in the right frame. I needed every one of those 3 or 4 hours before my wife got home to be in the right headspace. So when she got there, but I'm telling you, the other day, similar. Shake, shake, shake. Easy conversation. Thank you. You're entitled to your opinion, but your opinion doesn't mean that it's true to me. So I appreciate you giving me that feedback, but I tend to leave that on the shelf. Why? I don't have to defend me. God is my vindicator. I don't have to take myself out of character to prove who I am to anybody. Oh my God. It's nothing but pride and arrogance looking to prove who they are. It ain't me, but it's him who liveth in and through me. See, once you get to that place when you know who you are, whose you are, that you know you me plus God is the majority, it changed how you respond. It changed how you react to this atmosphere. The atmosphere. I remember at one time I was so insecure, I felt like my voice had to be heard, but now I realize that it takes more power to subdue the voice than it is to speak your mind. Oh my God, you broke bread, motivational teacher. Oh my God, you broke bread. You liberate. That's liberating. That is a bread breaking moment. That is liberating for somebody. That it takes more power to subdue than it does to speak your mind. Boy, that's a bread breaking moment. And see, the moment you subdue and you think, like I told you, when they laid me off, it took me 3 to 4 hours to process my emotions. So I won't say the right thing when my words counted. Because something, and someone was going to answer that door, and it determined what's that opposition or opportunity? Or was it just another thing in your life that you didn't grow and you didn't have and you weren't inspired by? I'm telling you right now, everything in your life, oh my God, that even comes as opposition, it's opportunity. Speak motivational teacher to the masses. Tyler Perry used the very thing. Tyler Perry used the very thing that was considered negative. And they thought Tyler Perry was just avoiding the world. When his dad was beating his mom, he would go sit underneath the porch. He would go leave the house. And they thought Tyler Perry was just avoiding the world. The very thing that he used to escape the house is the very same thing that he used to write the play. Is it an opportunity or is it just opposition? All opposition comes in the form, all opportunity comes in the form of opposition. I love hearing the story of Lionel Richie. Growing up in Alabama, they think you got to play football, you got to be tough, and you got to be this hard outside shell. Lionel Richie never. Lionel Richie had a gift. Like they thought Lionel Richie was a homosexual because he wasn't that whole macho thing. But Lionel Richie wrote the best love songs that this world has ever heard. What they thought was opposition was opportunity for Lionel Richie. He leaned into who he was. If you had to listen to everybody that tried to change, go out there and put their helmet on, boy. You don't need to be in here with all these women. You don't need to be in here. All that. They would have took away everything that Lionel Richie was supposed to be if he wasn't comfortable being in his own skin. And there's so many of us out there, we're not comfortable answering the door because we're afraid of what it looks like externally. They gonna think I'm weak. I gotta have on this shell. I gotta be strong. I gotta have on all this. I gotta look macho. I can't show weakness. Man, in your weakness, then are you made strong because you're no longer just dependent on your strength. It's when you're poor, it's when you're made rich. It's in those moments where you get to see the great I am work through you. Like we don't want moments in our lives where we have to depend on something greater to get us through. We got time and we got moments in our life that was only designed for your personal growth and development. They were designed for your personal growth and development. But if we continue to hide behind mediocrity, if we continue to hide behind what's comfortable, we'll never attain it. We can never attain it. But it's moments in life that we feel was meant to hurt us. There are moments in life where we feel like this was the one that was meant to take me out. There's moments in life when I feel like I can't carry the heavy load. There are moments in life when I feel like just one more thing gonna make me want to give up. There are moments in life where I just, God, are you with me? There are moments in life where we feel those ways, but I'm telling you, at that moment is when I'm gonna say this word. I'm gonna say this. In those moments, you are more in the spirit than you ever are in the flesh. It's the children of Israel never really had to depend on God until they got in the wilderness. Before they went in the wilderness, they only depended on the Egyptians. And the Egyptians to meet their only need. And God said, if I'm going to have my people, you got to learn how to suffice when you can't do it on your own. So he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make you hungry. I'm going to let you be hungry in the wilderness. You know why they had to be hungry in the wilderness? So he can feed them manna, to let them know I am your Jehovah Jireh. See, none of us ever want to be hungry, but we want to be fed. We want the true bread from heaven, but I never want to be hungry. But then on the other side, I want to be fed. Oh, I want the flowers in my garden, but I can't stand the rain. Oh my God, come on, Angelique, that is powerful. Oh my God, I want the business. I want 1 million followers. I want 1 million subscribers. But I can't do the process when I got 12. And he's saying, like, you want this, but you're not appreciating the moment that you're in your life. I got all that stuff for you, knock, knock, but it's in the form of opposition. It's in the form of pain. It's in the form of hurt. It's in the form of disappointment. How do you respond when it comes to you? Because this is what I know. We reveal, oh my God, I'm going to say this. We reveal more of who we truly are in moments of opposition than we do in moments of prosperity. Come on, Barbara. Holla at your boy. Come on, Pat. We reveal more about what resides on the inside of me in moments of oppositions than we do in moments of prosperity. Why, motivational teacher? Because in moments of opposition, we respond to what's true and what's real in our lives if we don't take a moment to consider what's at the door. That first natural response is what's on the inside of you. So the other day, life came at me. And I asked a question and I got an answer that I thought did not fit the question I asked. And it was opposition coming to see, is that old man dead or is he still alive, just covered up on a few more words? It trying to see if that old man was still there. Was he dead and buried, or does he still rise to the occasion when you hit the right button? I saw it. I saw the opposition, and it gave me an opportunity to realize that this is for my growth and development. How I manage this determines my next level. And so in the midst of the conversation, I'm sitting there and I'm listening, but I'm engaged mentally in my response. Man, I'm telling y'all, I'm telling you tonight, man, like this is what life is about. We can keep going through life with no direction, with no real compass. Or we can go through life being conscious of the moment that I'm in and understanding that this moment determines my next moment. If I don't manifest the true and authentic version of who I am now, and that changes based on how engaged I am. And I could have easily popped off at the mouth, snap, da, 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 da. I could have easily done those things, but it would only reveal that you have more work to do, Anthony, in the area. And that's okay if I'm willing to do the work. But I love the fact in that moment where my first inclination was to say what was on my mind. I got to tell you, the first inclination was to just say exactly what was on my mind. But then the more I sat there and I thought about it, I'm more powerful by not saying what's on my mind. It says more about me and who the great I am is through me when I don't have to vindicate myself. If God is truly my vindicator, I don't have to vindicate myself. I love the fact that when they came to my boy, my greatest role model, when they came to Jesus and asked him, he said, don't your book say that? He said, I don't have to vindicate myself. Read it for yourself. Your book said that. Is it okay to heal on the Sabbath? Like, what your book say? He said, I don't need to vindicate myself. Because I know there's a higher purpose and a higher call on my life when you know who you are. I love that. Most of us respond out of insecurity. Yes, this moment determined my next moment. Come on, Mary. When you know who you are and whose you are, you have a different perspective on how you interact with the world. I see it all as an opportunity. I see it all as an opportunity. I've been through too much. I've seen, like, man, listen, like I'm telling you, I'm starting to uncover who I am. I'm starting to uncover who I am. And the more and more I keep scraping back layers and understand who I was before the foundation of the earth, I'm starting to realize that all of this is just a test to see which version of me can respond. We go to grade school. We go through chapter 1. Teacher at the end of the chapter gives you a test to see what you've retained throughout the whole chapter. It's a chapter test, and that chapter test tells them to let your skill level as a result to that chapter. So if you're doing fractions, you're doing chapter 1 is fractions. So at the end of chapter 1 in math, that you have a fraction test. If you score 70 on that fraction test, it says that your proficiency level within those fractions is a 70%. If you score 90%, it says your proficiency level with inside of that content you just learned is a 90. My question is, in the season of your life, what is your proficiency level with passing the test? If you got a quick temper, what is your proficiency level at passing the quick temper test? Obviously, if you got the test, then God is giving you content. Boy, you going too deep tonight. If you're taking the test, he's been providing the content. Are you aware enough to know exactly what test has been given to you? Have you been consciously intentional about your life to know what season of your life that you're in? So when you get the chapter test, you can pass it. That's a bread-breaking moment. Most of us are not consciously engaged enough in our own life to be able to know what season I am and what test I'm taking. Oh my God, boy, that's a bread-breaking moment. And so therefore, you can never go to chapter 2 until you become proficient with chapter 1. And I keep seeing the same chapter of my life. I can't never get past this test. Every time I put 1 foot forward, it seems like I'm seeing 2. It's because you're not passing the chapter test. The moment you pass the chapter test, you go to chapter 2, you get new battles, you get new tests, you get new stuff, you get new whatever. And then you begin to become proficient at chapter 2. Then you move on to chapter 3. Most of us are 45, 50 years of our lives, and we still haven't passed the first chapter. And we wonder why. I'm going to say this. I'm gonna say this. We wonder why that only the majority of the wealth is in the hands of 2 or 3% people in the world. We wonder why, like it just seems like most people die broke. We wonder why it seems like most people take their goals and their dreams back with them because they never got past the first chapter. Mostly, I love how Les Brown says it. Les Brown says that you stop living at 25 and they bury you at 75. Like at 25, you just going through life, not being intentional, not knowing, not engaged in what's going on in your life, and you never get beyond that test. And they say, like the statistic says, almost 80% of people never move more than 15 miles from where they were born. Why, motivational teacher? Because they're still on the same chapter. They're still on the same chapter. Until we get beyond that first chapter and get proficiency in that first chapter, we don't get new tests. And see, I'm looking for new tests. I tell my kids, I tell my basketball team, I love mistakes. I love when you make new mistakes because that means you're on a new chapter. What I don't enjoy is having to continue to fix the same mistake 4 and 5 times because it's telling me you're not engaged in fixing it. But I don't mind making new mistakes or correcting new mistakes because it means that you are now in a new chapter, and it says that there's growth and development. There's nothing wrong with pressing toward the mark. I love that. One of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, I press toward the mark of the high calling, forgetting those things that are behind me. When I'm pressing, I mean I'm going higher. I'm going from chapter 1 to chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. I'm not pressing if I got the same mistake for the last 20 years. Seeing like every time I get a emergency fund, I just lose it right back. Oh, it seems like every time I feel like I found the one, it just never happened. Ooh, it feel like every time I think my diabetes is under control, it just lose it again. You know why? Because you're still taking the same chapter test. We got to move beyond Y'all hear me? We got to move beyond the same old thing. We got to start finding new knock knock. I need new oppositions so I can get to a new level. I would be disappointed if I stay on earth 70 years by reason of strength. And all I've seen are the same tests all 70 years. I've seen the same test that I never got beyond. I never got past. I've been taking the same test for the last 70 years, and I'm in the same place mentally I was when I was at 30. Like, what kind of impact can you have in your life if you're not intentionally growing and developing? Like, you're gonna live a life with very little impact if you're not growing and developing on a daily basis. And the way I know I'm growing and developing because I see new tests. That's how I know I'm growing and developing. I like new tests. I can't keep taking the same one and not passing. I like new tests. And new tests are okay because new tests bring new opportunities. I'm gonna give you this one. And I'm gonna get ready to get off this thing. I see y'all in that text box. When you don't pass the first test, the next test seems to be harder than the first. That's so true, Mary Joyce. That's why I'm saying let's become intentional about the first one. And so we can get beyond it. But I love the fact that if we look at, I consider this to be our greatest example. I can give you natural examples. I can give you biblical examples. We can look at Master P from the Calio projects. We can look at Master P and how Master P started. He was drawing his album covers from the trunk of his car. Go watch the No Limit Chronicles. Go watch his No Limit Chronicles. He was drawing it, and he got to the place where he would start selling CDs out his trunk. And then as he began to sell CDs out his trunk, he got to a place where somebody came and offered him a record deal. They would offer him a deal that he would have made very little money, so little money. He said, y'all must think I'm crazy to take this deal. See, when he was drawing CD covers out the trunk of his car, he didn't have that problem with folks trying to steal from him because he didn't have anything to steal from. But the moment he started selling real CDs and got a little record deal, got a little label, now he had higher problems that people were trying to use his name, image, and likeness and wanting to make more money off his name than he did. So there's a whole nother set of problems. And then he started No Limit Soldiers or No Limit Soldier. He started his own brand, and that brought about different problems because people that he was with earlier when he was trying to make it now said he owed me a certain percentage. That's a whole different problem. You see how the problem escalated at each stage, but you notice at each stage, at each opposition was a even stronger opportunity. That's what I'm trying to say to us, that opposition is not bad if it's not the same. Have you noticed the fact? I give spiritual examples, I give natural examples, and I love talking about the greatest example, which is Jesus. When you notice that one of the last things he did was raise Lazarus before he went to the cross. He healed the blind man, he healed the woman with the issue of blood. He created all the miracles, Jairus' daughter. He did all those things, but did you see the escalation in the miracles? That they got harder and harder and harder until he knew that I got to raise myself up from the dead. But each level came a new opposition, but also came a new opportunity. And so with each one of those miracles, his growing grew bigger. And people started believing, and people started asking questions until the great one where he pulled everybody all into one fold. When he got up, do you see the different levels that he had to fight in order to get to the one that ultimately changed the world? Like if we stay down here competing, down here on the ground with these ants, we never gonna get where we're supposed to be because we're majoring in the minors. I'm telling you, it's time for us to level up. It's time for us to come up hither. It's time for us to start finding some new opposition. Because we keep fighting this, we keep going around the same square. It doesn't equal progress. Not all movement equal progress. Don't get it twisted. Not all movement equal progress. Knock, knock. On the other side of your opposition is opportunity. I love it, Pat. She said, I'm rebooted. On the other side of your opposition equal opportunity. Oh my God, I'm gonna say this. opposition isn't always a bad thing. Most often, opposition reveals more about you than what you know. I never knew how strong I was at Vanderbilt until strength was the only thing I had left. When I was about to turn down that road, and come back down that road and quit school and quit everything, I didn't know how strong I was until I reached my breaking point. And at that point, I thought, great is he that lives in me, the he that's in this world. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's in those moments where I'm at the end of my rope. I need your rope now. That's when you are the strongest you've ever been, because you're outside of your comfort zone, and now you give him room to work. And you give him room to work, and you give yourself room to grow. Opposition isn't a bad thing. It just means if it's new opposition, I'm outside of my boat. Now, if I got laid off again and I had no more than I had the first time, and I'm back in that same test, and I don't make these confessions, I never be broke again, but none of my habits change. Nothing changed in my life, and I'm back getting. I got laid off again, but this time wasn't as stressful because I had more money, because I had already committed to myself. We'll never be in this place again. We start changing habits. And so my question is to us. We cannot continue having the same opposition. The same opposition brings the same opportunity. It's time for us to have some new and higher level opposition, because it means that we're growing to greater opportunities. That's a bread-breaking moment. Knock, knock. What version of you is going to answer the door? Is it going to be the 50,000 version of you per year? Is it going to be the $100,000 version of you? Is it going to be the $500,000 version of you that's going to answer the call? Is it going to be the person who's qualified to reach the masses that's going to answer the door? Or is it going to be the person that's qualified to reach 50 eyes to answer the door? Knock, knock. Opportunity is there. What version of you going to answer the door? The quickest way to get to a $500,000, the quickest way to get to $1 million is to become a person who can manage $1 million, or who can manage 500,000. That's the quickest way to get to it. I want to have a business that serves, 500 families, or whatever you do, whatever your business is. The only way to get there is to become a person that can manage that. How I get that motivational teaching? You got to learn, you got to develop, you got to grow. No other way to get there. You say, well, with social media, I can get there, but you can't maintain it. If you able to get people to your restaurant and by using social media, your food ain't good, guess what? They ain't coming back. So you can't maintain it without having a product that's backed by the influence. You can't. If your product ain't good, no matter how much you use social media to get them in, they won't stay. If you got a cookie business and you use social media to sell cookies, and you sold 500,000 the first month, 500,000 cookies the first year, I promise you, if they ain't good, you won't sell 5,000 next year. Because word of mouth travel. That's why God has got you in the incubator right now, and he's building you right now before you get out there to a national level. Every time I sit here in my mind, this is development for a larger platform. And that if I learn how to be good and how to be great on this platform, I ain't worried about the next one. I got to learn how to be great on this one. And the moment where I'm developed and there's more opposition, there'll be greater opportunities. See, most of us sitting there crying about what we don't have, and we're neglecting what we do. What's that in your hand? It's mighty in mine. It's mighty in mine. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, knock, knock. Everything that comes in your life tomorrow, positive or negative, consider it an opportunity. And what version of you going to show up? What version of you going to show up tomorrow? And I say this because I want you to hold yourself accountable to it. I want you to hold yourself accountable to it. I know what you want in the future, but the only way to get it in the future is to hold yourself accountable now. I love it. Be faithful now, Q, is to hold yourself accountable now. There's no other way to it. I would love to tell you there's a shortcut. I would love to tell you that Edmund Man got your back, or Steve Harvey, or Shazam, or whoever, that they gonna come, a Powerball got your back. But the only way to get there is to develop it. Ladies and gentlemen, knock, knock. What version of you is going to answer that call? Man, I want to thank y'all for chiming in this conversation tonight. Tonight was real. Tonight was raw. Tonight is where I came for your humanity. I came to talk to the version of you that identify with this dirt. I didn't come to talk to your deity. I came to talk to your humanity, saying you got to have some doggoneness. You got to stop being so soft. You got to stop being so emotional about everything that happens to you. Instead of being emotional about it, let's start thinking about it. Let's start being engaged in what's going on. Let's lean into what's going on so I can understand what the lesson, so I can learn, and so I can get to my next opposition, so I can have even a greater opportunity. Opposition is neither negative nor positive. How you use it to your advantage. Man, y'all have been so phenomenal this Motivation Monday. Thank you for joining in. Please share this, like this, and tell 4 or 5 people you need to go back and listen to this dude. This dude is breaking major bread. And I promise you, I'm looking at the lives of the people of these names. And I know some of you all are out there outside of your comfort zone right now. I know some of you all are out there right now. You feel like you're on an island by yourself. But I'm telling you right now, Noah had to build a boat, although the earth had never known rain. So don't feel alone. Don't feel lonely. Just know you got a cloud of witnesses out there with you. Mainly this community right here that these names I'm looking at are waging war. The Camel Nation are waging war on mediocrity. You got a friend in us. Show up here. I'm telling you, it's something powerful when you're with like-minded individuals. It's something powerful. Cornelia, it's something powerful that happened when you're around like-minded. You get strength that you didn't know you had. Just to push on a little further. And until next time, I am challenging you all to wage war on mediocrity. Your boy is out.